everyone. Happy New Year's! And to start that off, if you are looking to get tangible results for 2025, this is the episode for you. My name is Diana Lizarazo, and today's guest speaker is Jacqueline Francis. Now, before we get started, I want to share some exciting news with you. I have a social networking platform for the real estate investing industry. If you are a real estate investor, if you are a mentor, or you're a professional, so someone that services real estate investors, any type of service, accountants, mortgage brokers, trades workers, anyone, you want to be a part of this platform, you want to be involved with people that want to collaborate, build amazing teams, build amazing projects, and be around like-minded people. Now, back to the show. On the first Monday of every month, we talk about mindset. And every other Monday after that, it's all about real estate. So if you guys are ready to get started, let's get Jacqueline on. And then we can talk about, oh, where is she? Thought I saw her in. Oh, I don't know where she is. Well, we'll give her a few more minutes to come on because she did say. But yeah, so we will be talking about, oh, there she is. First Monday every month, it's all about mindset. And today we're going to get to hear about she's coming out. There we go. Hey, Jacqueline, we're going to get to hear about Jacqueline's points of view on how to make this year amazing, get those tangible results. Jacqueline, hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm good. I'm excited for today's topic. It's always great to get the year started the right way. So I think this is going to be a fantastic topic for today.
Oh, it sure is. I'm so excited to dive in. And I mean, for everybody right now, they need to know that, how do you get tangible results? I mean, we all want different things, but at the end of the day, we're all looking for results. No matter what it is that we're doing, whatever profession that we're in, we want to see results.
100%. And before we get started, let's just do a little intro. Tell them about what kind of mindset coach are you? Who's your clientele? Let's share a little bit about you so people just get to know who you are.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jacqueline Francis, self-image and mindset coach. I help people elevate from within. I help people understand that by changing how they see themselves, they will get the results that they truly, truly are looking to get. My clients, I help them from, younger women to older ones. It really there's no judgment here. There's no cap on the amount of lives that I think you and I are both here to transform and change.
100%.
So I'm excited.
Especially when you felt it, right? I think once you start realizing the impact that you can have in your own life by making small changes, by accepting ideas, the world that you come into is amazing, and you start amazing yourself. Like the last, I would say 5 years has been so amazing, and it's just exciting. Like life feels so exciting now all the time. And so it's like imparting this kind of knowledge. I feel like it's so important to me.
Hi.
Oh, but did you get disconnected for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
But I was just saying that it's so amazing to be able to impart that knowledge to people, because it's like, we've had these feelings of just like what it is to change your mindset, like what are the impacts and how exciting life starts getting when you bring certain awarenesses or realizations into your life. Oh, I think she keeps on cutting out. Or me. Could be me too. Actually, I'm curious, is it you or me? Do you feel like guys, let us know who's cutting out. I'm not sure who's cutting out. But let's get started with just even what that is. Like how do we even get started on, I would say, picking the right, actually, let's say, goal to make something tangible, to make those results tangible?
Well, did you know, first of all, that 92% of people don't achieve their New Year's goals, because sometimes sometimes, they set them way too high, not realizing the expectations, not realizing who they are, and creating these goals that are sometimes far beyond their self-image. And really, it's about 8% that really fulfill these goals. It's why is that? Why is this happening? When at New Year's goals, everyone's always on this trend about, hey, what's your goals for the new year? I'm ready to get started. And then midway through the month, by February, half the people have given up on
More
their goals.
than half the people.
92% of them.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think you're making really great points, actually. Getting to know yourself. Because, for example, some people are amazing with really, really big goals that sound unachievable, and maybe you don't achieve them, but they push you forward. To another
Yeah.
person, that's completely discouraging. Another person can be like, for example, let's say for me, I'd be like, ooh, I want to like make $1 million in a year, right? And then that will really drive me. Where another person will say that to themselves, and that completely stalls them, even though that may not be a tangible goal for me, but it may motivate me. I would say it would excite me because it's just like, how the hell do I do that? Right? Where someone else, that'll just be like a zero. They'd be like, that just sounds exhausting. That sounds so unachievable, and you don't even get started. So that getting to know you part yourself is very important.
Yeah. So let's define what tangible goals are, right? Like it's got results that can be measured. They're visible, they're meaningful in all areas of your life, whether it's your health, wealth, relationships, maybe it's personal growth. Maybe you want to be able to read 100 books by the end of the year. Maybe you do want $1 million in your business. So these are these goals that we set for ourselves, and then it's a matter of like, okay, well, what am I going to do to get there? Or a better question is, who do I need to be to achieve those goals? Because when our self-image doesn't align with the set goal, it's very easy to fall off. Why? Because we have a thermostat, right? We are just like the thermostat that is set in your home. And you know what happens, right? You set it at like 80, and somebody opens a window or a door, and the thermostat drops. So what happens? The furnace will automatically kick in, and it will bring you right back to that set point. So just like us, we set these goals, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. But if we don't change the way we see ourselves to be the person that walks consistently, that eats healthy, that's committed to their losing of or releasing of the weight, what happens is we start to see that drop. We're like, yes, okay, we got down to 8 pounds. And then all of a sudden, our thermostat will kick in and it'll bring us right back to where we are.
Your body's like, no, this is not comfortable. I want to go back to my regular weight that I know what it is.
Right?
And that's like that impact of really working on your mind becomes so important. Like you said, that changing of who you think you are, because clearly your mind is telling you, like, no, you are not that person that just lost those 10 pounds. Let's bring those back to normal, let's bring those 10 pounds back because that is not who you are. It's like it shows you basically your belief system, right?
It does, because you are not fully behind the idea of a person that can lose that 10 pounds. You don't see yourself there because you're so used to sitting on the couch and eating the chips, or so used to, sitting up late, especially we're coming off holiday season. How many people have like in sleep or have been in and just taking time off, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's getting back now to the goals that you've set for yourself. Or if you haven't set that, this is the perfect time to start thinking about what is it that you want. When we're here next December 31st, what do you want to look back and say that you did, right? What are some common challenges are? People don't reach also because there's a lack of clarity. Okay, there is a fear of failure and judgment. So you fear that you're going to fail. And sometimes the fear is so ingrained that you start off really strong. And then again, the thermostat kicks in. And what happens? It will bring you right back to where you will automatically self-sabotage if you don't understand how to work through that fear. And
Yeah.
procrastination.
Your worth, your self-worth, right? It's like if you believe yourself to be, for example, I don't know, let's say a 50K earner. Let's say now, I feel like the average probably now is like 80K. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like things are so expensive, right? Let's say like you're an 80K earner and you want to go to 100 or 120, it's like, but you don't believe that full self-sabotage, your worth is at 80K. And I feel like you see those things happen. Actually, I met a person that was like that, where wherever they were, or like they brought like drama around them. Like problems are always happening to your project. And don't get me wrong, problems in real estate will always happen. But then there's problems, and then there's like problems that just like people just bring with themselves. It's just kind of like the trail or something of, and it's like you just see that self-worth is, like it's that they are self-sabotaging themselves. It's just kind of like they clearly don't believe that they can do these projects properly, or they think, for example, like a lot of people have those beliefs that, getting into real estate is hard and you're going to make so many mistakes. And then like when your mind is already in, like you said, that fear mode, that like things will always go wrong, or I'm supposed to suffer, that's then all of a sudden you are always suffering through it. And again, I'm not saying that no one is suffering, because it does, like, going through change is difficult, but if you just add on to that, that just makes it, I think, like 10 times worse. And something that, for example, people will say, let's say to me, like, oh, like, why is it so easy for you, and for me it's so hard? It's like, where are your thoughts sometimes, because it is, right? Sometimes those thoughts really can drag you down, and getting like those negative thoughts specifically, like trying to push those out, trying to brainwash yourself and get those out of there is, I feel like, becomes very important.
Of course. And think about it. Your brain is always working to prove you right. So if you are having those thoughts of this is not going to work, I'm afraid, da da da, everything that you're going to see in your world is going to prove that to you. So you're going to be like, oh, of course, look how hard this has become. Oh, how am I going to do this? Who's going to reach out to me? No one's going to do this. And we keep perpetuating this, regardless of what it is in our life. And just to bring back to your point, there's also people, not just in real estate, but in other areas and other fields, that want to act as if they are leaders in the space. And then what ends up happening is sometimes they take advantage of that. So sometimes the fear is not always, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yes, that's a common one, but it's also, I don't want to be exposed. Because there are also people
Yeah.
in these that are claiming to be something that they're not, because they don't have the education, they don't have what it really takes. No, I'm not discounting that they can't get there, but they proclaim to be X, Y, and Z. People sign up for their programs, people join their courses, and then, karma comes back to them. So if you are not setting your intention to be an incredible, abundant person that's going to do what you need to do for the greater good, not for your own gain and own benefit. I mean, there is that to some degree, but things will naturally fall apart for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very, very true. So yeah, it can definitely be seen in so many ways, as you said, because like that, like you see people going up and hitting really hard because their thought process not so good, not so good.
Exactly. We've all heard of SMART goals, right? That is the number one framework I think people use when they are setting goals. They want to make sure that they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they are what is it, realistic, and they're timely, right? So when you follow those five things, I mean, goals can be set as small little goals to achieve the bigger vision, right? And there's these huge, massive goals. Now, I was taught, when I think of goals, to try to reach goals that you've never done. So I am a huge, huge fan of Bob Proctor. And he defines goals as ABC goals. A goal is something you've already done. A B goal is something that you haven't done before, but you know how to get. And a C type goal is a goal that scares you, but excites you at the same time. You have no idea how to get there. And this is where the power of belief, self-worth, and manifestation comes into play. Because it's not about worrying how you're going to get there, but it's creating the identity of the person who has and can achieve those goals. Because you wanted to live that life or to have that car, to make X amount of money in your business, you would have already been doing it. But the current version of you, the self right now, isn't that person that has the thing. Because that person has a different way of looking at life. They have a different mindset. They have different people they might be hanging out with. They have different habits.
Values. You don't even know maybe values. The values may be values, right?
Yes, they may not value the same thing as you. So it's closing that gap and saying, okay, if I'm here, how do I now reach that next level of my life? This is where the who do I need to be? And you can start to envision that and write that down. Like, what are some things you want for your life? And you can start. People don't know. We think we want the money. We think we want the house. But is it really that? It's a part of it. But is it or grandeur? What is your purpose? What is your purpose in this world?
Yeah. Or you know which one I really like actually that let's say for me motivates me, especially for example like that I'll have my year goal, but then same thing like you have that bigger goal that excites you, uh, but sometimes like you just like lose motivation. I really love the question of what does freedom mean for you? And the reason I love that one is just because when you start writing, or like when money isn't an issue, which is basically freedom, when money isn't an issue, who would you really want to be? I love those ones so much because I get all of a sudden I just get into writing and I get even more excited, writing more. And then all of a sudden, for example, a solution to my problem comes up in the middle of that writing. Because I'm so inspired and so excited. I'm not even thinking about my problem because I'm just having fun, like envisioning this life of like who I want to be in the future. That all of a sudden, just like out of nowhere, the solution comes for the problem I was thinking about earlier, like during the week or something.
Isn't that incredible? And honestly, that's been coming up for me in the last week or so. Reading about things that have been telling me once you get your mind off of the things that worry you, where doubt creeps in, where you're fearful of a situation, and you get into alignment with something that excites you and brings you joy, that is where the true magic lies. Because you're right, you will start find solutions. No, you won't find it. It will come to you.
Yeah.
You will attract it
Yeah, it is.
because you're
Like the excitement, you're so excited about this, your freedom or your that like that person who you want to be,
yeah,
and you're not thinking about the problem. Because generally, when you're thinking about the problem, you start putting all these barriers around yourself. Actually, the walls become higher the more you think about the problem. No,
well,
sometimes you
remember,
just gotta push it aside.
energy that you're using to think about the problem, it's just reinforcing the problem because your mind is now focused on it. Where attention goes, energy flows. So your energy is going towards the problem. Where's your attention at the problem? So if you are always thinking about the problem, how are you able to clear your mind to allow the solutions to come in? Our natural, right? We are naturally meant to be happy, joyful, and successful, abundant, right? But when we look at our reality, we see zero, like less money in our bank account, clients are not coming in, real estate deals aren't happening. That is all of a sudden we zero in on that. Why is this happening? How come it's happening to me? I can't believe it's me. And then all of a sudden, more of that seems to kind of occur. So how do you mind off of that? How can you take your mind, not by ignoring the problems, because you need to know what your current situation is, but it's about getting into a feeling state that allows you to create space in your mind and in your life to allow the flow, the natural flow to happen, to allow yourself to dream and to think, like you just said, whether it's writing, you're getting so emotionally involved in your dreams and your goals for 2025,
you're making them very specific. So for example, you're not going to just write down, I want more money, right? I want an extra $5,000 every single month. That is a goal. That is a tangible goal because it's something that can be measured. It's a specific number and you can get your energy behind it. If you're like, never made $1,000 or let's say you've never made $10,000 before, and you're like, I want $1,000,000, your brain's going to be like, I don't know about that, right?
Yeah.
That's why, like,
Smart is important.
Mm-hmm. That's funny, but it's so true. Your mind just goes into chaos. But I
But
think that's also a nice thing. It's like when you, for example, you ask yourself a question that excites you, motivates you, and then when you're in that excited state, then I feel like what I would do, and I feel like you're leading to it. I don't know if she froze, but I'll just keep on talking. But then, so you ask those freedom questions, and then I would say, is that now get into those questions. If you didn't get the solution, because sometimes the solution doesn't come when you're talking about like when you're getting motivated and stuff, it doesn't come, and maybe it's not supposed to. But if you're like, okay, I want to motivate myself, I'm motivated, and then the next question be questions, open into questions that will help you actually solve the problem. So instead of thinking of a problem, but thinking in a solution, what changes do I need to make to solve this problem? It's like to solve whatever the issue was. It's like, well, how can I evolve? How can I change? Who can I talk to? Who can I get support from? Because then these questions will start now, you start jotting down those answers. And usually they're a lot easier to answer, I feel like, when you're at that high vibration of excitement. That's why I also like to kind of put those two together. Is like if I'm feeling kind of down, I'll go for my like that what does freedom mean to me questions, or what does, if money is no issue, who am I? Because you start getting super excited, get super high vibrational, like you see I don't know, you start blissing out sometimes. But then you go into the questions because now you're in a good state and now you're just like, okay, right, like now let's figure out how am I going to solve these problems.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's the key here, to put yourself in a state where you are joyful, where you're excited, and then draw from what is coming up from within you. Because if you're feeling low and your energy is low, you're really not going to attract the things that you are really looking to get, right? And shift your energy and shift your mindset comes from being able to move into a better feeling state, right? So thinking about goals and we're thinking about how are we going to get tangible results this year. Can you find a quiet place? Can you put on music that makes you feel good? Maybe get a glass of champagne. Maybe read something that is going to like spark some joy in your life. And then you sit down and you start writing out what it is that you're looking for in 2025 and this year, right? Emotional state. And if it doesn't feel like you can do that in the moment, maybe take a nap, go for a walk, exercise if you need to, or just leave it for another day when you're like,
What's your favorite song? Songs is also a really nice one to get you pumped up.
right, exactly. You can use your favorite affirmation. You can listen to, I mean, with the access of YouTube, Facebook, and all these social media, you can literally find any affirmation or music that's going to uplift you and it's going to put you in that state to really create that life that you're looking for, to really say, hey, this is what I want. Because if you don't know what you want, you're not going to be able to get it. Let's face it. So having clarity in the goals that you set for your life is very, very important.
What questions actually would you tell the viewers to ask themselves to start, like you said, because you said also like figure out what your purpose is, like even figure out what you want, like what kind of questions do you think are good questions for them to ask themselves to start digging into that?
Well, first of all, it's what would I love? Like, if you really had no limits, if you were already making $1 million in your business, what would you love? You can start from, because how many people really ask themselves that without thinking about all the other things that piles on top of that question? It's just a matter of what would I love. You sit there for a minute and you think it's an easy question until you sit there and you really ask yourself and start writing the things out without judgment. Because the minute we ask ourselves, what would I love? Oh, you know what? I would love to be able to take 2 vacations this year. Then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, but who am I to do that? What would so and so think? What would what and the judgments start happening.
Mm-hmm.
So great question. What would I love without the judgment? How would I feel if I was already making that money right now? How would I feel if I was already able to take that vacation? Who would I share this excitement with? Who would I share my having this new car with? Right? And what would it mean to my life? Is another great question. To have X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Specific and clear you can get, the better you're able to come up with ideas, solutions, visions for your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I say don't get discouraged also because I think sometimes, especially like you said, like not a lot of us ask those questions to ourselves. We're so stuck in the grind of just working, paying those bills, trying to get through life that this may be the first time you're asking yourself these kind of questions,
No,
and you need, I feel like, days also, like write it down, or even copy someone else's. I've had those things happen to me actually at the very beginning, where I would copy other people's goals because I just didn't really know what mine was.
I love
But then as but then you start getting those feelings like that in real estate. It was like everyone was all about the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis. I have zero interest in cars, but I was just like, sure, this seems to be the goal, and my goal is I'm gonna get a Lambo for some reason. Actually, it was like a Tesla because I like Tesla, but I was like, sure, I'll do the Tesla, right? But was I achieving my goals? No, because I mean, was it motivating me? No. But then I started understanding my feelings. I'm like, yeah, the car thing isn't really my thing. Traveling is my thing, and then I was just like, where would I want to travel? And then all of a sudden, then I was just like, oh, okay. And then I start finding goals that are like the things that I really like because sometimes like that, you don't know. So I think don't get discouraged and it takes time. Like I felt like it took me actually, I feel like a few months to be honest. I just stuck to one goal. And then I think it was a few months later where I was like, okay, I understood. And then I was like, I get the concept of what we're trying to do. We're motivating ourselves. And I was like, okay, got to change the goal to something that actually motivates me because that's not a Lambo is not going to motivate me.
not a Lambo girl. I can definitely see you as a Lambo girl. And yeah, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay inspired, right? Because there are things that's going to happen that's going to demotivate us, that's going to throw us off of what we originally set for ourselves, people, circumstances, situations. But how committed are you to changing your life? How committed are you to saying, hey, at the beginning, in January of 2025, I said I was going to do this. Mm-hmm. Here we are in March. I don't want to get up early anymore. I don't want to really go to the gym. But if you do not take responsibility for your results in your life and stick to those goals that you set for yourself, do you want to have the same life that you've lived in the past 5 years, past 3 years? Because that's and it's our responsibility. We don't have, our parents there anymore holding our hands saying, okay, you got to eat your vegetables. Okay, you got to do your homework. Those things are long gone. The responsibility now lies in us to get the results that we truly want for our lives. And that doesn't just benefit us, but it benefits everyone around us. Because when we are in a better place, we help others to rise and to change their lives when we change our lives, right?
100%.
Yeah, one thing I always say to people is when we rise, we lift. I heard that at a summit that I went to last year, and that really, really stuck with me. And so I always use that because when we rise, we lift others with us. So why wouldn't we want better for our lives? Why wouldn't we want goals?
Yeah, that leading by example thing is so true. I remember I would, with me and my husband, I'd be like, come on, like, why don't you want to be in real estate? You should be in real estate with me. This will be amazing. I'm like, you're a contractor. How does this not make sense for your business model? I was just kind of like, I didn't get it. And I was pushing, pushing, pushing. And then I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do it on my own, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm taking these courses and just trying to understand it and learn how to invest as a business. And then all of a sudden, like I would say within like the 6 month mark, all of a sudden he's using terminology because I would have my courses on loud, so he'd hear certain words and he'd be telling his friends to come invest with me and do these things. And I was just kind of like, how do you know this, And it's just like because he all of a sudden was starting to get the bug of like, this sounds interesting. I do want to get involved in this, right? And so it's like that leading by example, you do not understand how powerful that is,
Yeah.
even in a non-real estate sense, when you have the energy, you like the people around you also start getting into that energy. And like that, it took 6 months. Like it also takes time because it probably took me 6 months to even show that energy, right? I was probably in a state of confusion, right? What is real estate? How am I supposed to do this? My mind's all chaotic. I don't have any confidence in myself. Clearly, at that 6 month mark, I probably had changed, right? He was probably seeing a more vibrant Diana, more, wow, where's her confidence coming from? Who is
Yep.
this person? How is she like able to do this? Who know? Like I must have been projecting something for him, for me to inspire him.
Well,
Same thing, like other family members, I really inspired them without even realizing. My sister's always like, hey, don't forget about me. She's like always wanting to get involved in all my stuff because she's just like, like that. She's like, man, like you have your own thing. I still have to work. And that she has her goal set of her earlier retirement goal because she just saw the life that I was bringing in, and so she's always time. Remember, don't forget about me. I'm here. You see something happening, put me in there, right?
that's beautiful. People will either rise to your level or they'll fall off. And clearly, everybody around you wanted to know what you were doing. They were inspired by you because you started to show up as a different version of yourself. You were excited about life, about something that maybe 5 years ago you had no idea how to do. And instead of getting stuck on the I don't know how to do this, you still leaned into the fear, walked through it, and say, hey, I'm going to take this and learn and understand, and I can see where I want my life to go. And this is what I'm going to use to change my life. And look how many incredible things have happened to you in the short period of time from when you got into real estate to right now. The amount of people you met, the things that you're creating, it's incredible.
The person I've changed to, I've become such a different person that I even shock myself. Like it's just shocking to see, you don't realize who you're suppressing until you really, that, like you said, find your purpose, until you really actually are ready to really make those changes and discover who you are. You don't realize actually who you're suppressing until you start allowing that person to come out and you start accepting, like, this is actually going to be a fun journey, getting excited, motivated, and just moving forward.
Yeah, because you start to peel away the layers of the things that have held you back, that have created the fear, that has pushed you into a corner, and you've had thoughts of, hey, maybe this may not work, right? And this is the whole work that I do when it comes to identity and when it comes to self-image. When we start to really align with our true selves and take away all of the layers, we start to come back to who we want. It's a remembering process. You remember how incredible you are. You remember how confident you are. And then you take the steps, the incremental steps to get to where you need to be. And you'll always get back on the path. It's just a matter of peeling away, changing your mindset, being committed to yourself and your journey, and then everything else flows to you. It's not about chasing, it's about attracting. It's about being the person that has the things that aligns with the things that bring things towards them. Not someone that's like desperately like, oh my God, I want your business. I want to do this. I want to do that. Right?
100%.
And I
So
think also, or did you have, yeah, you wanted to go to the next point?
yes, I just want to say, so we're going to start talking about a few things that you can do like right now to start getting some of those tangible results. And so just to recap, like the first thing we did talk about was being clear with your goal. So I just want to share another point, which is to create a plan of action. So if your goal you're setting is to make an extra 10 or 15K or 50K in your business, create a plan that's going to get you there. Okay, here we are in January. Can I, let's say real estate, for example, can I look at a bigger property? So for someone that may invest into single family homes or into condos or let's say even duplexes or triplexes, maybe it's, hey, maybe I need to scale. Maybe I need to get another partner to do this with me to create a larger income. Maybe you're in a business where you want to create another program. So even as a real estate investor, maybe you want to create a program about the success that you've done and help people through what you've done to get to the results that they want. So you create a program. Maybe it's have setting a meal plan that you can follow, that it's not like totally rigid. We're like, I'm never gonna eat carbs. I'm only gonna drink water all day, and I'm gonna drink like 5 gallons of it. Like, let's take it and make it something that we can get our energy behind. Because if you can't get your energy behind it, you're right off the bat going to be unsuccessful.
Yeah. Or you'll have that, like, I feel like you get that energy burst of, let's say, the first 3 to 4 days, and then all of a sudden, like, you crash hard because you, like, really killed it. You know, you just, like, go, like, I'm changing my whole life kind of a thing. And, and you gotta be gentle to yourself also.
You
Do you want me to read this question? I think this is a great question for you to answer. Do you want me to read it to you? So it's, any tips for someone who is a happy-go-lucky person and others around you start to take advantage and take over? What are your tips? I think it's a great question.
boundaries. What are the boundaries that you have set for yourself when it comes
Mhm.
to other people? And it could be a partner, it could be kids, it could be a parent. Ask yourself, reevaluate the boundaries that you've set for yourself. It's okay to say no.
Mhm.
Gotten anything out of this live today? Listen to me and take this down. It's okay to say no. No one is, and if people want to judge you for it, let them, because it's about your peace and it's about your happiness and it's about what you want to create. If you're a happy-go-lucky person already, and people are taking advantage of that, then you need to scale that back and say, I want to continue to be a happy-go-lucky person. I want to continue to make others smile and love others the best that I can. But at the end of the day, first and most importantly, I've got to take care of myself. And if I'm not being happy, I feel that you're taking advantage of my kindness, well, now I've got to set some boundaries.
Mhm.
Maybe, and I'm not sure what the context of that is,
But I feel
but
like that would
maybe
be a great question. It would be to ask yourself, you know, to what amount am I willing to give with nothing, with not receiving nothing, and having that your boundary. And people go over that boundary,
yeah.
then you're just like, sorry, no, I can't, whatever it is, I can't do it.
Maybe
Because that also gives you confidence. By elevating, I feel like your uh, level of respect for yourself, that like levels you up in so many different ways, that, because these kind of things are obviously chipping at your confidence, right? This
yeah.
just chips away. You don't want to, and sometimes we don't even realize these kind of things, these little things that will happen. They start chipping away at our confidence, and then all of a sudden, what happens, like 10 years later, our confidence is like to the ground and we don't know why. So it's just also, those boundaries are so important, because you know what you're willing to give with nothing in return, and also you're willing to, and you know what you're not going to give. Because the other really important thing is, you have to be at your 100% to give at 100%. And so a lot of people think, for example, if I just give everything, then your health is not there, or your whatever, your mindset is not there. So truly, are you giving it your 100%? No. You know, it's like we think we are because we're trying to do our best, but really it's not. So it's like having that, you want to make sure you are at 100% so that to those people that deserve what you are giving can get that 100%. Because if you're just giving 1% all over the place here, because then, you know, actually it's like
You can
you're chipping at yourself.
feel frustrated, you can feel annoyed. And for her to recognize that there are people taking advantage, right? That came into her awareness through something that has transpired. So it's reevaluating the relationships in your life, reevaluating where you stand, and sometimes it's closing those energetic leaks. Sometimes it's calling up that person and say, hey, can we have a conversation about this? Because if you're not saying nothing and they're not saying nothing, but you're feeling a sort of tension and they're feeling nothing, and you're over here being like, oh my gosh, you know, like this isn't feeling the same. I'm not sure what to do here. You know, having that conversation, because maybe that person doesn't even know. Maybe
Yeah.
they do know. And we need to stop being afraid to tell people how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop being afraid of speaking our truth, because our truth, if it's our truth and we want to better our lives, the other person will understand and get on board. If not, and they can't see it from, you know, our perspective, and we don't need to have them see it from our perspective. But if they get it, then maybe that becomes the end of where things will be at that point. Because everybody who supports you will, right, will be able to say, hey, I get it. Yeah, let's talk about this. I feel this certain way. And you won't be scared to share that. They'll get on board with it. They'll be like, oh my God, I'm so glad you told me this. Thank you so much for sharing. And at the time, they're going to take it personal. Well, maybe that person doesn't need to be in your life anymore.
Yeah. And like that, they'll leave themselves very easily. So that
Right.
no is like a very amazing thing because, like you said, I'll make that boundary for you. It actually elevates your confidence, and the people that don't need to be there and just leave, it they're in another path, and you are now in a transition or whatever. You are in your path, and not everyone can always be together all the time with everything. Like there's gonna be like that. People will leave because you're making changes in your life, and that's not really anything they're interested in. It's not a good or bad thing. It's that they have certain things that they want to do, and it's like why hold on to things that really don't need to be there. And it's just more out of again that fear that we have in ourselves of change.
Yeah. And sometimes the other person fears you changing as well, right? And when you show up authentic, when you show up ready to confront someone and share with them what's been going on, you're giving them permission to do the same thing. Because you're like, I'm going to speak my truth here. I'm going to tell you that this is what I did not like. This is what bothered me. Then, you know, you show up as a different version of you where you're taking accountability for your life. You're speaking up, and then you're showing them that it's okay to do this as well. To show up. Because we're all walking around not being able to share like what bothers us. All we're going to do is hold it within us, and it comes out, it manifests in different ways. Right? We get more like aggravated with things, and we don't even realize it's because we're having these energy leaks of not putting gas.
Yeah. So that self-assessment thing is also I think really good to even helping yourself out. You know, it's like why am I self-sabotaging? For example, even just going back to our questions, you know, it's like asking your questions like to get to know yourself. For example, why does this happen to me, right? Why do I, let's say maybe continually get taken advantage of? Because once you start seeing maybe there's some kind of patterns you're doing, like what is the boundary that you keep on allowing to be broken, and why is it not important to you, you know, or why did you think it wasn't important to you, but now you're like, okay, I realize this is an important boundary that needs to be properly set up, right? So
And
these questioning yourselves are so important.
bad. We feel bad to hurt other people's feelings, right? A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people just don't want to hurt others, or they think it's wrong if they say no to someone else, without realizing that they're overextending, and now like they are creating these patterns, because it's okay to say no. It's just
Yeah.
okay,
And it's
right?
also, again, thinking like it's a habit that you've set in them too. So they're used to this behavior of, let's say, getting what it is that what they want all the time.
Yeah.
And so that change is going to be hard. And also, I think the awareness is important that you're going to change a boundary. Understand that it's going to be tough for you and them. They're also going to maybe be like, I'm so used to always getting this, and now they're not giving it to me, right? And then they may get a little upset. So also giving, I feel like, that time for things to settle and being firm on your new boundaries. But even you, both sides are going to have time having to settle with a decision. It's like, is it one is building that new habit, but for the other side, it's also, do I like this new change, right? And giving them time to, okay, this seems to be the new thing, and giving them time to settle with it, because in people in general do not like change. So also being prepared that it may come with a little bit of conflict or a little bit of chaos, but it will all settle with giving it time.
But I think it's also like seeing that this person is going to be okay with the change as well. I think because when we have expectations of other people, they show up in that way. So if we can change the expectation of how that person will perceive this new change that we're going to create in our life, it could be a very positive outcome, right? So instead of feeling like, oh my God, I'm scared, they're not going to like it, maybe anticipate, hey, you know what? They're going to fully accept this because this is going to be something great. We're going to create
Yeah.
a deeper relationship, and they're going to totally get why I need to do this,
Yeah.
and vice versa, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point too, actually. I feel like mentally preparing yourself in the positive way for that
Yeah.
conversation is also important, because they'll see it in you. Like if you feel nervous or you have no confidence in saying that this is your new boundary, they're gonna walk all over that boundary. They're gonna be like, yep, she's just joking around.
So expect the best instead of expecting the worst, because we tend to play situations in our mind not in our favor. We tend to create scenarios of things not working out, like, oh, how many times in your mind is running that same conversation of them, and you're thinking, oh, they're going to be shocked, they're going to be annoyed, they're not going to want to talk to me. So reverse that. Think of how well it's going to go when you tell them and you have the conversation or whatever that is. Like, learn to expect the best instead of like wanting or expecting the worst.
Mm-hmm. And we're only a few minutes away. Did you have any other points? We're gonna go back because I felt like we got a little sidetracked, but I thought that was a very, very good question.
It was
Yeah,
amazing.
great question.
Track your progress. So keep a journal, keep like a habit tracker. They have a lot of stuff on apps now that you can use. So if it is something like you want to become a more healthier this year in 2025, you can track your habits. You can, keep a journal. You can have a gratitude journal just to see where you are. Celebrate your wins in how you're tracking your progress as well. So you can start, January 1st. What's something incredible that happened to you that day? Up to right now where you've been. Number two, it's your mindset, right? Everything starts from within. You want any external change, you have to go within. So replace the negative self-talk. Just like I said, the worst, expect the best. Look at people showing up in your life as the best versions of themselves. So then their expectation changes in your eyes, in your vision. Because when you expect something good from someone, that's how they're going to show up in your world. And there's actually like proof of this, but we'll get into it like another
Yeah.
time.
Another thing I'd say is accountability is key. Maybe you can have an accountability partner, things like this that we're doing, where we're holding each other accountable, we're, constantly having conversations, even giving yourself like timelines, right? Not being hard on yourself, but saying, okay, I'm going to be accountable for my progress for this week to get X, Y, and Z done. Is take consistent action. So maybe you're scared to post, but you want a bigger following on your social media. Small incremental okay, every day I'm going to post one post, or every other week I'm going to show up live on camera and I'm going to talk about a topic that is going to, help my business, or that I love to help my business grow. Measure the tangible results. Okay. How do we do that? Maybe something like doing something that, now let's say you've worked through these small things where you're showing up consistently, you're drinking the water. Maybe you decide by like May you want to run a marathon. Maybe you decide you're going to take a speaking engagement. That's how you're going to measure the tangible results. Can you're like, okay, yes, I feel a little nervous, but you know what, I can do this. And you sign up. You sign up, go, and then
And even that sign up is actually a good accountability. Now you have a date that you have to work towards.
that's so
Double whammy over there.
That's so true. Yes, exactly. Right. And, stick to what feels right for you. Listen to your body, but most importantly, work on your mind.
I love it. And I wanted to add on a little thing. If people are having, let's say, downers, because we all have those days where we don't want to do anything, complete low motivation, there's something that I like to do. And I like to ask myself the question, what can I get done in 5 minutes? Because then you really go down to the really micro goal, and you can still, and then 5 minutes feels like nothing, and you can get that task done in 5 minutes. And sometimes it prolongs, and you know what, you're like, that wasn't that hard, and you continue, and it becomes longer than 5 minutes. Or you finish those 5 minutes, like you're like, you know what, I'm just going to put a list of 10 people I need to contact, and you're done for the day. And at least you're it kind of like you have done something, which continues that motivation, because sometimes things can get hard, they feel hard. So even I like those times where she's like, what can I do in 5 minutes that will get me closer to my goal? And
Exactly.
it will just be like a really nice thing, because it also helps you get really into those micro goals where any little movement forward will help you, even if you're having a downer, slow type of day, because I feel like a lot of those happen more. So sometimes at least you can slowly, or maybe you just put them in between your days, like in the in the between the day, right? Maybe in the morning you do a little something, in the evening you do something, and then at least you still feel accomplished, because you're like, I was lazy and I still got something done. Actually, I feel a lot better. I feel really good about those lazy days where I get those little 5 minute ones done.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like writing out, even like you said, you don't have to have this huge list that you're working through, but maybe 6 things you want to accomplish in your business, in your personal life, or a combination of things. Okay, I'm going to drink, 3 glasses of water. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to do one social media post, and I'm going to, try to call, like you said, like 10 people on my list. And maybe it's just those 4 things, and you're like, great, amazing. Let me check that off my list. And then you just do the other things. But you're sticking to those 4 consistent things every single day, or 5 or 6. But it doesn't have to be 10 or 20. And give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Do not judge yourself, please. And remember that, we need days to rest, and we're going to have days, like you said, where it's not always going to feel so high vibe. And be gentle with yourself during that time.
Even like that, you'd be like, I am so deserving of relaxing right now.
Yeah.
Just it's
Just go.
yeah, it's okay to do that. So giving yourself like a good affirmation that says that it's great to lay down and relax and be able to take some time for myself, because it is.
Rest is a part of my strategy.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, that's true. Rest is a part of the strategy. Love that one. That's a great one. Yeah. Jacqueline, thank you so much. It was so fun, like always, to chat with you. I think this will be a great for everyone to just get started. Make 2025 the best that you can, because I think this year is going to be amazing. Take advantage and let us know what goals let us know in the comments. What are your goals for this year? What are you planning to do? Like that, like what are your strategies? Let's say for when you're lazy and you still want to move forward. What do you get done? or how do you get it done? You know, if you have a lazy day or like that, like when you feel happy about things like that, like you like to have your rest days. I love my rest days. But Jacqueline, thank you so much. It was so much fun to have you on. If you guys love what you hear from her, she's gonna be tagged on here. She also has her profile in REI FAM, so you can definitely check it out there too. And if you love what you hear, you love my shows, definitely follow me too. Jacqueline, thanks so much for coming on.
Mwah.
We'll
Have a
see
nice
everyone in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.